Hello, I'm Lisa, the founder of Garden of Flavor, and today I'm going to tell you the story of how Garden of Flavor got its roots. I was one of four, and my favorite thing to do was weed the garden. That's where I loved spending my time, was in the garden. And I would come home every day from school, pick the fresh strawberries, and that was something my mom was passionate about as well. And I think we began to grow very close because we loved growing things in the garden. And it was always the vegetables and the berries and what was growing on the blueberry tree. And even as a child, we had aronia berry bushes. And I think that was my first introduction to aronia berries. So later on in life, my mom developed cancer. And so one of the things that I wanted to do, of course, as a daughter, you want to heal. You want to heal your mother. You want to make her well. And so I started learning more and more about the benefits of juicing. And juicing was something my mom did off and on throughout her life. And so we started visiting all these different wellness centers around the country, whether it was in Mexico, California, Germany, and no matter what the treatment was, the one thing they all had in common was juicing plenty of green juice made with kale and spinach and cucumbers, very alkalizing for your body. And she found great relief in that. It made her feel better. It made her body less toxic from all the chemo and the medicines that she was on. I was very pregnant with my oldest son. Shortly after he was born, my mother passed away, but now my oldest son works with me. He's our plant manager, and I just have these great pictures of him crawling around the house with a baba in his mouth, carrying that bottle of green juice everywhere he went. Because even though my mom passed away, my love for juicing and the benefits that it could provide your body stayed with me. And when I was at a turning point in my life, what should I do to heal myself from the hurt that I was going through? And so I began juicing, and then before you know it, I was juicing for the neighbors and taking my juice to the farmer's market. And before you knew it, I opened a juice bar in Chagrin Falls, Ohio. It was totally based on the honor system. I would basically juice one recipe a day, fill up the refrigerator. They would come get their juice and leave money in the juice jar. I always had the juice in my car, right? I always had bottles of juice with me, and we have a local grocery store called Heinen's. And at the time, I think they had about 26 stores. And it was the night before Thanksgiving, and I called them because I was driving by their corporate headquarters. And I said, "Hi, I make this really great juice. I'd like to talk to somebody about selling it in the stores." And the woman on the phone was just a delight. And she put me in touch with Les Geierman. And his comment was, anybody that would call me at 4 o'clock the night before Thanksgiving, sure, come on in, I'll see you. So he thought I was a little crazy at first, but as he learned more about the category, he called me back and said, come on in. And he gave me my start as far as what a UPC code was and how to make nutrition facts and things like that. And that's where Garden Flavor started selling our juices into grocery stores. And our first store was Heinen's. In order to work with a grocery store such as Heinen's in Cleveland, Ohio, I had to open up a manufacturing facility. And that's when we decided to go all in and refrigerate the whole process and keep the juice as fresh and organic and wonderful as we possibly could. And then probably we were in Heinen's for a couple months, and I began selling to our local Whole Foods grocery stores. So once I started selling into the local Whole Foods stores, we spread out into the whole Mid-Atlantic region, and we have continued to grow from there. And what's really great about it is that our process really hasn't changed. We still bring in full pallets of produce every morning, and by the afternoon it goes out into bottles of juice into the market. During the pandemic, we actually expanded our production capabilities. We added another 5,000 square feet of refrigerated production, and that is allowing us to grow into more grocery stores in the area and also nationwide. We now are able to deliver our cold-pressed energy to stores such as Ralph's and King Soopers, all the way on the West Coast as far as Whole Foods. And our goal is to continue to grow, but with only making the purest product possible. We're not going to grow and cut corners because our whole mission is we love juicing for you. And the idea for me about juicing for you is to take that burden of juicing off of you because it's time consuming and challenging, and do that for you. And that is how we're going to continue to grow Garden of Flavor. Thank you so much for joining me today as we talked about the stories and inspirations behind Garden of Flavor. To learn more, please visit us at gardenofflavor.com.